Welcome to this technology brief. My name is Michael Kraut. The cloud is here to stay. Are you ready for it? What comes to mind when you think of the cloud? A lot of people look up towards the sky, see the fluffy water-filled objects. But in the IT or information technology world, we see it a little different. There's a lot of discussion about the cloud. There are different providers, including Microsoft and Amazon. But did you know that the cloud has been here for a pretty long time? If you want to think about it, when you're using the internet, you're using a cloud. If you're checking your email within your company, you're using a cloud. A cloud is just computers connecting to each other and exchanging data. It's not until lately in the last decade or so that people have been talking about the cloud. So in this video, let's take a look at the cloud a little closer and see if you're all ready. More and more companies are taking a leap to the cloud, but are they ready? So what we're going to cover in this is we're going to look at the history of the cloud, what's all the excitement about the cloud, and we'll look at 10 benefits of going to the cloud. So let's take a look at the history. Let's take a trip back in time. In the old days, about 20 years ago, there was a commercial with a single IBM server in the middle of the room. This was the beginning. So in the beginning, we used to buy hardware and licensing to set up a data center. And then the data center was connected to another data center. This created a private cloud. It was owned by a company. If you wanted to add a new server, then you would go out and buy a new server. That was not really that long ago. Let's take a look at a little more history. Anybody ever hear of a term hypervisor? A hypervisor, or sometimes called a virtual machine monitor, VMM, is a piece of computer software, firmware, or hardware that creates and runs virtual machines. Now, the host computer is running the hypervisor. The virtual machines, or VM, are known as the guest machines. So let's take a look at the history. All the hypervisors started around the same time in history, and it was about 15 years ago. Can you remember what you were doing 15 years ago? It's not that long ago. VMware was founded in 1998, based out of Palo Alto, California. It was acquired by EMC in 2004. Now owned by Dell Corporation. The first product was VM Workstation in 1999 of May. XenServer was developed in the labs of Cambridge University. Its first public release was in 2003. Citrix bought XenSource in October of 2007. Then comes Microsoft. Their first attempt at virtualization was Virtual Server, which came out in 2003. Then Windows Server 2008 and Hypervisor was released as a release candidate. Windows Server 2008 R2 was the first retail version of Hyper-V. Hyper-V is the basis of what Azure is, which is Microsoft's public cloud. We'll be mostly focusing on Azure for the rest of this video, which Azure is expanding by leaps and bounds. So let's jump back into our history lesson first, though. That brings us to a private cloud. We talked about hypervisors and virtual machines. Now we have the ability of rolling out servers without buying new hardware. And so what this did is this changed the whole premise of IT. We could accomplish things faster and more efficiently. Virtualization has brought a cost-effective solution to our IT environments. But what does that have to do with private clouds? Well, a private cloud is owned by a company, and hypervisors such as Hyper-V contain the VM, which are virtual machines that form the private cloud. Private clouds just mean that you control the data. You're the master. You also have to maintain the environment, employ the right people, upgrade the environment, backup. List goes on and on. The costs also keep rising. With each new feature that we add to the environment, this is going to increase the cost. Also, we have to spend more time. which is money, come forward to the present day. What is a cloud? Or what is cloud computing? Now, NIST, which is the National Institute of Standards and Technology definition, says that cloud computing is a model of an enabling, ubiquitous, convenient, on-demand network access to shared pool of configurable computing resources. Now, the main models that we work with are IaaS, which is infrastructure as a service. And this is the same as working in the hypervisors, but in the cloud. In this instance, it's Azure. So instead of creating the VMs on a local hypervisor, Hyper-V for example, you create a VMs in the Azure. And when you think of Azure, it's just a bunch of Hyper-V data centers providing computing network and storage resources to customers. This is also known as a public cloud. We also have PaaS, which is platform as a service, that provides a platform allowing customers to develop, run, and manage applications without complexity of building and maintaining the soft infrastructure. Software as a service, or SaaS, includes Office 365, Intune, Dynamics Finance, and more offerings. It's offered based on a subscription that's paid to access it. SaaS is controlled by the providers. So Office 365 is Exchange Online for email, SharePoint Online for collaboration, including Office, OneDrive for business, and Skype for business for communicating, including conferencing, IM, and meetings. There are services that you will find in an on-premise environment that cost thousands of dollars to implement and maintain. There are different price points and offer different features. The more you pay, the more you play. Check out our other videos that we discuss Office 365 in more detail. Now, these hypervisors with VMs and all the other services, on-demand is one of the requirements for cloud computing. So, how is this accomplished? I'm glad you asked that question. There are different tools that are used to control the environment. We're talking about Azure. So one of those tools is System Center Virtual Machine Manager. It's used to automate the creation of cloud environments. It includes the templates of the virtual machines and customers purchased in IaaS and are created to house the Exchange Online and other services of Azure and Office 365 as examples. Now, if you know anything about scripting, then you'll probably hear about Windows PowerShell. It's an object-oriented based language, and the object is like a car. Their properties and also methods. Properties describe objects like color, height, width, methods, tell the object to do something such as brake or accelerate or fly. This allows us to create scripts based on these objects to automate the creation of VMs. One of the tools that's used is called Orchestrator to automate the environment. When you create a new VM in Azure, Orchestrator and Windows PowerShell do the creation. These are all contained in a suite of utilities which is called System Center. Enough of the history lesson. Let's take a closer look at the cloud. So are you excited? A lot of people are excited about what the cloud has to offer. More and more companies are jumping in to the cloud and what it has to offer. But what is all the excitement about? Why are people so enthused and interested in the cloud? People are excited about the cloud, but why? Have you ever gone to a website and see that it's now up? Maybe it's down for maintenance, or you get a 404 not found error. How often would you visit that website? Most people spend about 10 seconds on your website. Get to it. They probably will not try again. A few years ago, Amazon did a study. They wanted to find out how much money would be lost for a non-functioning website. They were looking at lost revenue for their website. They found out that they would, on average, lose about $1 million. This is a lot of money. When you build a product for a company or a client, they want it to be available. That brings us to a concept known as SLA, Service Level Agreement. Most companies want 100% uptime, while most providers guarantee at least 99.9%, also known as the 3 nines. Now, Azure has an uptime guarantee of 99.95%, Office 365 99.9%. That's a total of a year. So 99.9% uptime means that 8.5 hours per year the site might be down. When you think about an SLA, you need to also think of two things, RTO and RPO. RTO is a recovery time objective. Just means how quickly can I expect it operational when a disaster occurs. RPO is a recovery point objective. How much data am I willing to lose after the disaster occurs? These are very important factors to consider. RPO, for example, and geo-redundancy Azure storage is very short, but RTO is long. Azure, on the other hand, makes your workloads highly available by locating copies in different locations. If you create a geo-redundant workload in Azure, in the East, there will be one in the West. This alone would save thousands of dollars. In the traditional method, you would need to stand up 2 data centers to provide the type of redundancy Office 365 is protected by 100 data centers across the globe. So you can see how this can lower the total cost of ownership, or TCO. Also, almost everything that we deal with in life is connected to the cloud. When you play a game on Xbox, you're accessing it from the cloud. Your refrigerator, car, even your house is connected to the cloud. ADT, security systems, automated houses, this is all Internet of Things, or IoT. And guess what? That's the cloud. Okay, excitement's over. Now really, let's see how the cloud can benefit your company. We're going to take a look at the top 10 reasons that the cloud may fit into your organization. So pay attention because these can save you thousands of dollars over time. Number 1 is flexibility. Businesses have certain times when they're busier than the rest of the time. During these times, such as holidays and other times of the year, they need more horsepower. In the past, you would either add more memory or spread the workload. This meant shopping more memory, buying more stuff. In a cloud environment, you can scale up and scale down on demand. You can do it automatically based on some type of a criteria or based on a schedule. CIOs and IT management calls this operational agility. The ability to react to your company's needs, expand when you need it, or collapse when you are done. This helps to lower the total cost of ownership. How many people remember Katrina or a tsunami that hit Japan? What happened to the businesses that did not protect their data? They are our businesses. There are billions of dollars spent on disaster recovery. Small businesses just don't have the resources to pay for disaster recovery. So they end up doing daily backups, shipping them offsite. They lose their machine, then they have to restore it, and then restore the data. This is time consuming. Remember, time is money. The cloud is your friend. The data is stored in the cloud. This means that you can access it from anywhere. It's protected by the SLA that I spoke about previously. So it provides safety that you need. In the past, you would have to create another environment exactly like the one you have, and this is another expenditure. In the cloud, we can extend our on-premise environment by adding servers in the cloud. We can replicate the data that's needed to restore into the disaster recovery site or DR site. So if we do have a disaster, we just switch everyone to the cloud. Also remember that it is also going to be available in another site if you're using geo-redundancy for the storage in Azure. Disaster recovery is made simple using the cloud. As an IT professional, we always dread Patch Tuesday. Tuesday of the month. And this is when Microsoft releases the patches and updates to improve security and stability of the operating system. Why is it dreaded? Because testing is needed to be done to make sure the patches do not cause harm to the current environment. WSUS Server, or Windows Server Update Services, along with SCCM, helps you to automate a lot of the management of the environment. But it's time consuming. The benefit of being in the cloud is that servers are located off-premise. The control is in the hand of the provider. No more having to test patches and security updates. Microsoft takes care of that for you. Remember the SLA? So this means no downtime, which lowers the total cost of ownership. If you know what it takes to operate a cluster, then you know what this is a time saver. Less downtime means more productivity. The fourth benefit is capital expenditure freedom. What do we mean by this? If you wanted to expand your company, you would have to go and buy more hardware or co-locate your gear with the data center. Either way, there is a major upfront cost associated with this. Have you ever had to shop for hardware? The average high-end server costs thousands, tens of thousands of dollars, plus the time to find the hardware, order it, get it shipped to you. It all adds up to major expense. Then on top of that, you have to install the operating system, purchase this license. Windows Server 2012 R2 or Windows Server 2016 data center licenses are not getting any cheaper. Don't forget, you need to purchase the storage. This is probably a SAN, which can run you a pretty penny. The cloud eliminates that upfront cost. When you set up a VM in Azure, you pay for the amount of resources that you use. This is paid on a subscription basis. Think of Office 365. Office 365 has Exchange Server, SharePoint Server, and Skype for Business. The licenses are included in the price of the subscription. In addition, you can download 2016 Office and put it on 5 devices, which alone will save you about $4,000 per individual. Licenses for Office is not cheap either. Just think of all the time that you save from not having to shop for the best price, configure and fight with the operating system. Time is saved by using the cloud. But there is a drawback. Customization is not that easy unless you're using IaaS. But if you don't have to customize, then this is a good fit. One more example of time saving. In an Exchange environment, we set up something called a DAG, which is a database availability group. This is used to provide high availability. When you calculate all that's required, it can be a hefty price. Guess what? Microsoft O365 environment is all configured with high availability, so you don't have to worry about it. That's why over 90% of the Fortune 500 companies are using Office 365, which is a SaaS solution. The fifth benefit is increased collaboration. When you're using a cloud product such as Office 365, you can work projects very easily as a team. Team members can work together worldwide, and this helps to make teams more efficient when working on projects. They can hold meetings with Skype for Business, they can share files and documents, and using OneDrive for Business. Also, they can work with workflows on SharePoint Online. By using the cloud, you can get more done in less time. The sixth benefit is being able to surf. Now, really, the sixth benefit of cloud computing is working from anywhere. There's a statistic that says that by 2020, 80% of the workforce will have the ability to work from home. How will this be accomplished? By using SaaS, solutions such as Office 365. Companies are moving their users from on-premise Exchange Server to Exchange Online. As they do that, they're looking for ways to move the other parts of the network to the cloud or creating a hybrid environment. There are over 700 million plus users that are using Office 365. This is spread across 100 data centers across the globe. Users have the ability of setting up meetings, with individuals located in their company and also outside the organization. Skype for Business includes Skype Broadcast, which allows you to set up meetings that include up to 10,000 participants. Office 365 includes tools that allow you to collaborate on projects using Office 2016 programs. Exchange Online allows you to schedule meetings, send and receive messages, and integrate with RMS, rights management services. SharePoint, Skype for Business. SharePoint Online provides an internet presence for the company where they can store documents, create mini sites, search for documents throughout the organization. Of course, OneDrive. This can save countless hours by cutting down the amount of time searching for documents the old way. They can also be used to search and hold documents for court cases. Can you see how much time is saved and flexibility the cloud provides to your company? Are you starting to get the picture? We spoke about OneDrive for Business. This is a file server in the cloud. So the seventh benefit is document control. Business is cutthroat. We're always trying to stay ahead of the competition. So if documents were to leak with our business secrets, that would be pretty bad. When you work with documents in the cloud, you can secure the same as if you were on premise. The cloud offers other safeguards, ensuring documents are not sent that contain confidential information. One of these features is data leak protection. How many times have you had someone send account information, banking information through the email or in a document? With cloud tools, you can stop this from happening. This can be based on templates that can recognize financial information, PII, which is personal identity information, and other templates. You can customize your templates based on your own company information. There's a saying, Big Brother's watching. Now you can better control what is sent and what is stored, who has access to it, track that access, prosecution. If you're worried about your data being safe from the provider, it is. Microsoft has a strict policy that says your data is always your data. They only allow authorized access to that data when you grant it. You decide to leave Azure, your data goes with you. You need access to data that's available anytime you need it. Also, your data is centralized, backed up, and replicated. That way, you can sleep better at night, knowing that your data, which is your life's work, is safe. Did you know that lost laptops is the biggest cost in the industry? It's not the device, but the data that is located on a laptop and also mobile phones. This accounts to billions of lost revenue per year. How much is your data worth? They say it's $1 million to create, then it takes $2 million to recreate it. As a veteran, I received a letter saying that my information could be compromised. Someone carrying my information lost their laptop and another person lost their BlackBerry. This went out to 150,000 plus veterans. This is disheartening. What is the solution? That brings me to the eighth benefit of cloud computing, which is security. When you're using a cloud security environment, the data is centralized. It's not stored on the device. Now, you do have the option to store the data locally. This is a good thing because not all times will you have internet access. But if you were to lose your laptop or mobile device, it can be remotely wiped. The device can be put back to factory standards. This way, the information that was stored is unavailable to prying eyes. Don't worry about the data. It's backed up in your OneDrive in the cloud. Also, OneDrive is being backed up by Microsoft. Data is protected in a transit by using SSL, secure socket layer, and also REST by using different mechanisms such as dynamic access control. Remember, any of these technologies that are in Windows Server 2012 R2 or Windows Server 2016 are being used in the cloud. You can secure your environment using role-based access control, which is RBAC, rights management, RMS, auditing, and much more. Azure and Office 365 are also ready for FIPS, HIPAA, SOX, US Patriot Act, and more compliances. That's why more and more companies are moving to Azure and Office 365. What's the number one goal in a business? It's to make money. That's the bottom line. That leads us to the ninth benefit of cloud computing. How would you like to even the playing ground with the big boys? Beat them to the market with your idea. The cloud does that. Small companies can compete with larger companies because they have access to the same enterprise software as the big boys, but at a lower price. Things like machine learning, analytics are available at your fingertips. This helps smaller companies to have a faster adoption of new technologies. There are pay-as-you-go plans, and you only pay for what you need. So you get the big boy toys without the big boy pay. And this helps to lower the total cost of ownership for these companies to medium-sized companies, making them more competitive. There's so much talk about global warming and conservation. Find ways to save Mother Earth. This brings us to the 10th and final benefit covered in this video, which is environment friendly. Save the trees, save the ocean, conserve energies. These are the slogans. When you move your infrastructure to the cloud, it helps to keep the environment safe. When machines are not being used, they can be automatically put in hibernation. When you have a peak times in your business, the environment can be scaled to help meet the needs. When it's done, then it can be scaled down. This helps to save energy. Microsoft is also looking at ways to saving power. Microsoft has already put data centers in the ocean. The ocean current provides the power for the data center, and the ocean cools the server. This helps to cut down on the carbon footprint using traditional data centers. Also, relocating your infrastructure to the cloud helps to conserve energy, eliminating all the energy consumed by additional data centers. Well, that's it on the benefits. One of these benefits should pique your interest. Are you ready for the cloud? We covered a lot of material in this short video. We learned that there is a difference between a private cloud and public clouds. We learned that it all started with hypervisors, connections between data centers known as private cloud. This was expanded. Microsoft and other companies such as Amazon created the public cloud. We learned about the NIST definition of the cloud and different models: IaaS, infrastructure as a service, software as a service, and platform as a service. We also learned about the hybrid model connecting the on-premise to the cloud. This information should pique your interest to learn more. Answer the nagging question: are you ready for the cloud? So if you want to find out more, we have the MCSA Cloud Platform Bootcamp, which takes you through Azure and helps you get ready for Azure and also for certification. We have the MCSA Windows Server 2012 R2 Bootcamp, Upgrade MCSA Windows Server 2016. Also, we have the MCSE Productivity Bootcamp. Once you get your MCSA, all you have to do is pass one more exam and you get your MCSE Productivity Bootcamp or Productivity Certification. We also have Cloud Consulting, where we'll help you to move from Office 365 or on-premise to Office 365. We'll help you move your SharePoint for intranet. Also move files from your file servers into OneDrive and other opportunities to help you out with the cloud. We also provide the ability of getting free training. Ask how we can do that for you. And also, if you don't see it, then ask. And we'll also provide you with $250 savings on training. This is a limited time only, but by watching this video, you can apply this $250 towards any of the training that we offer. Thank you for attending this technology brief, and we'll have more in the future. For more information, You can contact us at email at sales@ideadudestraining.com. You can call us at 1-888-512-3450. Also, you can visit us on the web at http://www.ideadudestraining.com. Become an affiliate. Inquire how. Thank you, and have a great week, and we will see you in the future. Bye-bye for now.